The Comet has established mobility programs that can take you anywhere you want to go within the Columbia urbanized area. You can qualify for these programs as a senior or a person who has a disability. You must start or end your ride outside the Comet service area. The two new mobility programs that may benefit you are the pickup program called PUP and the volunteer driver reimbursement program called V Trip. An application and determination of eligibility will be required to use these programs. To see if you can use these programs, turn in your application for the program, show proof of your eligibility, and complete required training. You can use these programs if you live in the Columbia urbanized area outside the Comets urbanized service area. More information on which areas are included will be shared in this program training and upon application. To qualify, you must live further than 3/4 of a mile away from a Comet bus stop and be outside of the Comet urbanized service area. All trips must begin or end inside the Comet urbanized service area as determined by the service map. To apply for these programs, you have a few options. You can complete an online application. You can print an application and mail it to our office. You can send it by fax, or you can email a scanned application. All addresses and phone numbers will be provided at the end of this presentation. To qualify for these programs, you must be a person with a disability or 65 years or older. You must live in Richland or Lexington County. You must live outside the Comet urbanized service area, and you must complete required training. If you have previously received approval for and have proof of the DART approval paperwork, if you have a DART ID, or if you have a half-fare ID, you meet the proof of disability requirements. Otherwise, you may have to be assessed. To prove that you are 65 years of age or older, you can show a driver's license, a state ID, or a Comet half-fare ID. You have options to receive the necessary training. You can do it by viewing this online YouTube presentation. You can do it in person with a staff member, or you can do it virtually with a staff member online. Now let's look at the pickup program, or PUP. PUP provides a monthly allowance to use for travel. Allowance is issued in a rideshare app or on a debit card. Riders are provided $50 per month for rideshare or taxi service. Any tips will be the rider's out-of-pocket responsibility. To use the taxi option, you will be given a list of partnering providers. To pay your fare using a taxi company, you will be issued a debit card. You must inform the taxi company that you are a PUP rider when calling for the ride to receive the negotiated discount. Once approved for the program, you will select the ride provider. If you should choose Lyft or Uber as an option, you will be issued an account code for fare payment in the Lyft or Uber app. The Comet will provide you $50 per month on the account. That amount does not carry over to the next month, so if not used, it will not compound. Tipping the driver will be your personal responsibility. You can schedule Lyft rides at any time of the day. Lyft has added a zone area called geofencing that creates the service area. If the trip falls outside of this area, you cannot use Pup funds. When you book your ride, you must select Lyft Classic. Once traveling, you cannot add a stop. The ride is paid from one direct location to another. You cannot use Pup funds if you should add a stop. The other mobility program option is the V Trip program. V Trip gives you funds to pay for a volunteer driver in the form of mileage reimbursement for the driver. The amount is based on the federal mileage reimbursement rate. Now let's look at V Trip. Volunteer drivers can be friends or neighbors who occasionally offer you rides. The Volunteer Transportation Reimbursement Program allows eligible participants to reimburse the people in their life aside from family who drive them. Mileage reimbursement is limited to 100 miles per month. This allowance is a total allowance for you as a rider, no matter how many drivers you use. No family members will be reimbursed. If you are eligible to participate in either of these programs, you agree to the following. Your information will be kept private, but it will be used to make sure you can keep using V-Trip. You will tell the truth and let V-Trip staff talk to people that can show that you are telling the truth if they need to. You know that V-Trip staff have the right to look at everything that you have given and ask for more information if needed. You agree to follow V-Trip's rules. You know that if you do not, you will not be able to keep using V-Trip. You recognize that it can be dangerous riding with someone else. The person with whom you are riding may not have space for a wheelchair or mobility device, or be able to help you in and out of the vehicle. If something happens to you while using V-Trip, it is not the fault of the V-Trip program or its representatives. Now that you understand your responsibilities, your volunteer drivers must be willing to sign a required driver waiver. Following are the statements that they must agree to be a driver who will be reimbursed. Their driver's license must be current and they must have car insurance. The driver must agree to drive you safely. The driver must know that driving you is strictly voluntary. Drivers should understand that you must submit monthly logs of trips to get money to pay them. Your drivers should let V-Trip know if they do not get payment from you. And you will not get money to pay drivers if the trip does not count or if they are found to be dishonest about trips. The Comet or Able SC or anyone else supporting V-Trip cannot be blamed if you get hurt or if your driver has an accident. Drivers will know that their personal information will be kept private and will only be used for helping you as their passenger. You also have program responsibilities as a rider. You must track the trip origin and destination. You must begin or end the trip in the Comet urbanized service area, and you must record ride information. For PUP, you must keep track of your PUP monthly account balance. The monthly limit is $50 and cannot be exceeded. Unused funds will not be carried over to the next month. For V Trip, you must keep track of your V Trip monthly mileage balance. As a reminder, your monthly mileage reimbursement is a total of up to 100 miles from all volunteer drivers. The monthly limit is 100 miles and cannot be exceeded. Your unused miles will not be carried over to the next month. On your V-Trip log, please ensure that you complete all required information when you fill out your log. Fill in your name, address, phone number, the dates and date of trip, volunteer driver's name, your from address, your to address, the miles, and the reason for the trip. After filling out all required fields on the log, your drivers must initial by both their name and phone number. All drivers must initial by their name and phone number. Trip logs and reorder forms are due by the 5th of each month to get funds for the next month. Logs and further instructions are included in the approval packet. Sometimes you might overlook items on the log or improperly fill out information. Pay special attention to all items to avoid getting your log returned. Common examples are that the log is improperly filled out or the form does not match the information from the driver. The program has additional limitations. First, there's a two-person per household limit for these programs. Also, if you are a veteran with a Veterans Hospital appointment, you may have been issued a medical transportation voucher. If so, you cannot use the Comet programs for those trips to the VA hospital. There may be times when you could be suspended from these programs. Some examples are exceeding the $50 monthly limit, fraudulent monthly reporting, abusing the program. But if you are suspended, you can appeal to the Director of Community Access at Able, South Carolina. For further information, you can call Able SC at 803-779-5121 or email mobility at thecometsc.gov. Once approved for program participation, you will receive additional program information, including all required forms and documents and program contact information. So you can be successful if you get the training orientation, complete an application, submit your application, prove eligibility, follow program guidelines, and send in your monthly reports. If you need program information in an alternate format, we can get it to you. If any program material is needed in an alternate format, please contact Mobility Management with your request. If you need program materials in large print, we can do that for you. If you require Braille, we can also offer it if requested. For further information, you can call Able SC at 803-779-5121 or email mobility at thecomet.sc.gov. You can also mail it to Able SC, Attention Mobility Management, 720 Grayson Road, Columbia, South Carolina, 29210.